Hello everybody, I hope you're having a good week. This is Matthew Irvin. In this video, I'm going to cover what we're going to be doing for week 6, what you should be working on. I know week 6 is coming to an end on Sunday. I will probably give a brief extension. We will not be having a Zoom meeting tomorrow, Thursday. I will be rescheduling the Zoom meeting for Sunday. Let's look at relationships. First, let's go into the introduction and objectives, okay? And it tells us what this is. Basically, what we're talking about is mate selection, which could potentially lead to marriage, and it could be a long-term issue, or it could be one just establishing a rather more temporary relationship. But, that said, it is a necessary, but not necessarily sufficient cause that we establish a relationship if it's going to eventually lead to marriage. So let's look at some of these concepts. We're going to describe love. That's the operant way that people define in this culture for meeting and establishing a relationship that may potentially lead to a long-term. We're going to look at the changing courtship rituals. And we'll look a little bit at online dating. We'll look at sexual orientation, and we're going to look at the concepts of endogamy and exogamy. Now, let me define these for you so that we can cut right to the chase. Endogamy is an anthropological term that means essentially that one selects a mate from within a group. What does that mean? Well, we tend to select people with the same sort of religious orientation that we do. We tend to select people for a potential mate who are from the same social class. We tend to select people who are mates or potential mates from within racial and ethnic groups, although that's changing as we've learned. So basically the concept of endogamy means within a group. We tend to select people with the same sort of educational or work background that we have in general. Okay, so exogamy is the idea that we select outside of a group. Now, both of these, we do a little bit of both of these when we select. We of course, there's something in anthropology called the incest taboo. We don't select mates from relatives who are close to us biologically, cousin marriage being, and women tend to marry slightly up in terms of social. That's just a tendency. Okay, so that's what those terms mean. Let's take a look at what you're going to need to practically do. Here's your activities checklist. You're going to need to go in and read chapters 5 and 8. Chapters 5 has to do with love and intimacy. It covers a nice hunk of material, okay? It covers kind of the history that we have of love. It's a great chapter, so please read it. And chapter 8 has to do with dating and mate selection. Of course, punchline to falling in love. Okay, so please read those chapters. That's all we have to do for this. We don't have to do any readings from the reader. Okay, then let's go back up and look at our assignments. You'll need to complete the quiz, which is due relationship formation, and then the cultural variation in marriage discussion. But before you leap into posting there, read this dysfunction of marriage, and then watch this video about arranged marriages. Why? Well, the concept of love as a criteria for mate selection is comparatively new and relatively specific to culture of the United States. So, you'll get a good idea of what's going on if you haven't already done so okay? There's a lot to read, but it's very interesting. I think it's enjoyable to read. And perhaps we'll talk a little bit on Sunday about some of my work that I've done on mate selection using online dating. So, with that, please feel free to contact me if you have any questions, and we will see you on Sunday.